Hello, I'm Matthew Malcolm with Pacific Nut Producer Magazine, reporting to you here today with Bill Brush in his almond orchard in Modesto, California. And there's been a lot of talk and discussion about navel orangeworm control, and one of the keys to navel orangeworm control is sanitation in the winter. But as Bill points out, you really got to be careful, especially on the younger orchards. We've got a lot of young almond orchards out there, and we don't want to damage them. And here's Bill to talk about that and how to achieve a good balance.
Yeah. Well, one thing I have to agree with is sanitation is the key to eliminating or reducing navel orangeworm damage. However, at all costs, it can be very, very costly to you, because if you damage that tender bark of a young tree, especially in its third, fourth, and fifth years when we begin to harvest them for the first time, you create damage sometimes if not careful. And if your particular type of variety tends to set on the actual scaffold, it's very, very difficult to get them all off. And so you are either going to go back with a hand poling crew, which then again hits and bangs on that tender bark of those limbs of that young tree, and you can do irreparable damage, and years down the line find out that those are dying scaffolds and we have to start over, and that hurts production for long term. Our goal has always been here where we farm is to do what is both economically expedient and the best thing to do, at the same time taking into consideration that this is a very, very tender tree at this particular age, and it needs to be treated as such. A lot of people look at it, well, if it's producing, it's good to go, and we're ready to treat it just like any other tree. Once a tree gets to be about 7, 8 years old, that bark is very, very toughened up enough to the point that shaking's a little bit not near as the danger that it is in that third, fourth, and fifth year. The other thing is we know already that some of the herbicides, that we don't want to get it on that young tender bark the first 3 years. So why do we think we can treat shaking-wise one of these that way? Now, having said that, don't take this that Bill Brush said, that never shake your mummies, because I do believe that is the most important thing you can do to get rid of navel orangeworm. But be cautious when you do that. And it is at a cost that you may not like the end result if you're damaging the bark of that tree for years to come. I mean, you're looking at the fourth year of a 25-year investment. So I'm going to get one good year of navel orange coverage, and then I'm going to have problems with my orchard for the next 20 years because of the damage I did. I think it's just the efficaciousness of getting them on is beyond reproach. Everybody knows that's what works. But if it doesn't, that just means you have to be vigilant in your navel orangeworm control. You might have to spray it additional time with a crop protection material. You want to monitor it more closely. You want to be very, very proactive ahead of time. You're going to err on the side of spraying an extra time rather than not spraying hardly at all. So I would say at the end of the day, it's a orchard by orchard decision. How does it work? Can I go out there and lightly tap? And I said, oh, that did a good job. Yeah, I can do it. On another orchard, I'm sitting there and I'm hitting it and turning that shaker on and on and on, or I'm having guys out there beating them off with sticks and doing more damage than good. So it's an individual decision, but I think it's one that really bears a lot of people looking into before they just go ahead and do it.
Great, thank you, Bill. We appreciate that perspective. Read more about navel orangeworm management and winter sanitation in Pacific Nut Producer Magazine. I'm Matthew Malcolm, CaliforniaAgNet.com.